Okay, that's pretty good. G'day, Stu from UAVfutures here, and today, well, we're gonna go have some fun with a super cheap pair of box goggles from Iflight, putting them on my face, and I wish I had a name for you, but they're just called FPV goggles. So the world's most original name right there. And yeah, this little box goggle from Iflight, I think it's coming in at 50, 60 bucks. What we're gonna do, we're gonna quickly put it on the bench, break it down, look at the text and the specs, and this is aimed at you guys out there. If you wanna get into FPV and you're wondering just how much money do you have to spend before you can do it, this is a very, very cheap pair of goggles, but be warned, we do run into a couple of issues out in the field, which I want you to be totally aware of, because there's no point buying something if it's just not gonna be a good experience. I'm also gonna be referring to these Hawkeye, or as what I like to call them, the Nun goggles, which also look completely ridiculous, but one of my favorite picks for a cheap pair of goggles. I absolutely love this. You can go watch that review up there. But we're gonna go out to the field in a sec after we look at these and find out, are these the good box goggles? I think we've got Crash Test Cal, Granger might be in the field, Long Range Tony. We'll have a whole bunch of fun just flying around, some FPV shenanigans, and just finding out how these box goggles actually go. So now on the bench, let's have a quick squiz. You can see, hopefully this is in shot in the roof cam. It's a big, fairly hefty box goggle. Let's see if I can put it on the scales right here using my special patented egg cup technique. Let's tear this off, and it's coming in. Just gonna have to take my word for it right here at, maybe I can move this back a little bit, 360. Oh, almost had it. Well, it's saying can you see that? Yeah, well, it's saying 363.9 grams. So look, it's definitely not the lightest box goggle, and you are definitely going to notice that on your face. Some cool features, you can see it's quite large. It's got a screen which is detachable, so you can take this screen out. This is just like a plastic shell. It's got a top headband, so we can put that bit to the side. The actual screen itself has an inbuilt battery, which I do kind of like. It's got an on-off little slider switch right here, which I think is a nice little touch. It's not diversity. It's RP SMA. You can cycle through your bands and channels, all that sort of stuff. It actually does do DVR, so you'll notice on here, but I looked at the price, and silly enough, I went out to the field and I forgot that it had DVR. So during this review, you're not going to see any DVR of the goggles, but I don't think you're going to be too upset when you see the conclusions we get to. I do like how it charges via USB. That's pretty cool. Iflight has been absolutely killing it lately with things like the Nazgul, the Z motors. They've been making some top-notch stuff, but this attempt at this box goggle, well, you're just going to have to see what happens. Now, this seems to be typical. You get this white screen here. You're meant to be getting some snow, or at least some static or something like that, because when I was flying around, I did have a bit of a bad dropout. It caused me to crash. This is the exact screen that I got, and that's kind of it on the bench. Oh, and the resolution's super low too. I think it's like 480 by 270. I'll put it on the screen anyway, and overall, that's it on the bench. It's a super cheap little simple screen. You plug it in, turn it on. I like how it charges by USB, and I like how it's got a little on-off actual switch, not just a button, so you can't accidentally bump it or anything like that. And then it clips in to the front of your goggles. That's it. You're ready to rock and roll. There is no, this should go in there. There's no sliders, nothing like that for adjustment, and we do get a little bit of light leakage on your face, but that's it on the bench. Let's go have some fun now in the field with the Iflight FPV goggles and find out how a $50, $60 pair of goggles goes, or are you better off saving up for a little bit more and checking out something awesome like the $80 or $90 Hawkeye Nun goggles. So let's do it. Go have some fun in the field with the boys in 3, 2, 1, boop! Radio out here in the field. Let's do it with the Iflight box goggles where dreams can fly. I think they're like 50, 60 bucks. We'll put it through its paces and find out what the other pilots think. I got to tell you, Granger, we got Granger, Long Range Tony. Cal's meant to turn up at some point as well, but I got to say, they're already feeling a bit uncomfortable on my face with a ton of light leakage, but we will see. So yeah, they're definitely feeling uncomfortable on my face. I like how you can turn them on over here with like a little slider. I think that's cool rather than a button. Easy to go through the menus. Are you all clear, Granger?
I'm clear. Go for it.
All right. Oh, I better put it on the right model. How about that? Why is that not arming? I haven't bound that up to this radio. Okay, we got to bind it. Take 2 on a different radio. My face is getting sore because I've been wearing them the whole time, so that's a sign. Freaking me out. I feel like my head is, the screen is sideways. Oh. I thought I was getting some lag or latency, but it doesn't seem to be the case. A little bit jittery. And I don't know, oh God, okay, I'm finding this very tricky to fly. I'm getting some strange flashes across the screen. The colors are okay, maybe a tiny bit bland, but look, they're not terrible. I'm definitely getting a lot of light leakage. Also some reflections too. So not just light coming in, but I can see, I guess, my face in there, which is awfully scary. It's hurting my nose and especially hurting above my left eyebrow, as weird as that sounds. So let's try and hit some of these gates just here. Yeah, I do not feel confident in the slightest trying to hit this, trying to fly and talk. Iflight, I think, makes some really cool stuff. I love their Nazgul, and I know this is cheap, but this one I don't think I would recommend for many people. It's hard to see stuff, it's hard to make kind of the details out. And oh, where am I?
I saw it, don't worry.
Did ya?
Yeah.
It's like just gone completely white. So the screen has gone completely white. So if you have a look here, it's just, see, we've got nothing but white on the screen.
Great.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, let's go get the quad back. Did you see where it went?
Yeah, I saw exactly.
Thanks, Granger. Rightio, long range Tony. I've got some box goggles I'm going to get you to try on now. You're actually flying your wing long range right now. It's in loiter mode. So what I want you to do, this is all set up on your channel. If you could pull the goggles off you've got and put these on. Oh, he's a bit nervous.
It's all good.
It's coming in, all flying autopilot.
Wowzer. Alrighty.
What do you mean wowzer about this?
Wow, this is, there's a lot of light leakage, isn't there?
This is from Iflight, who I should say typically makes some cool stuff.
Wow, I'm actually getting really nauseous looking at this.
What, that quickly?
Yeah, it's just, maybe it's just going from those goggles to this straight away. It's a nice screen, but I'm just struggling to really get dialed into this because I feel a bit, yeah, it just feels a bit artificial compared to the normal goggles.
Sorry, that looks like it's cutting the top of the trees right there. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right. It's good. It's sitting at 60 meters, so we're all good. Yeah, look, the goggles are, they're interesting. Where's, far are we going? Is that a tree? I think I'm going to have to save this, Stu.
You're going to have to come and land?
We're
Sure.
at 35 meters.
Oh, what do you mean? You mean take it off auto or
Yeah,
whatever?
I'm taking it off auto.
Oh, sure, but you can still talk about the goggles?
Yeah. So the goggles are, like the great picture. I'm really long-sighted, so I'm struggling just a little bit to sort of focus on the depth of the screen. It's yeah, it looks like it's only a few inches away, but yeah, I just struggle really to get it all in vision.
Are they comfy or pressing on your face?
Yeah, look, they're relatively comfy as goggles go. There's a massive amount of light leakage though. Like,
Yeah, I can
it's
see
like- it's
back
just
here, yeah.
daytime coming in out the sides. But look, the screen is pretty clear. It's a good representation compared to what I was just looking at in my Fat Sharks.
Do you prefer these over the cheap Nun goggles that we reviewed?
No, those Nun goggles, they were really good. I don't know whether it was just the way the mirrors were set up, but I didn't have any issues at all focusing on the screen. It was really pleasant on the Nun.
Have you got focus issues on this one?
Yeah, again, it might just be because of my long-sightedness. The top of the screen's good, but down the bottom, I just struggle to see as clearly as the top of the screen.
Too easy.
Yeah.
All right, they're about 60 bucks, I think.
It's good for beginners, but I think you'd soon want to get something better.
Okay.
All right, end of review.
All right, no worries. Thanks, Tony. Let's see you go for a landing.
Hang on, let me just...
Oh, I should also say, mine just cut out. Like, it just lost image halfway through a flight. Which
Thanks
is
for telling me that while
yeah.
I'm flying my really
expensive wing.
expensive wing.
Let's give us your best landing.
Alrighty.
We're the other way, Tony.
Yeah, it's coming. It's just got to wash some speed off, Stu. You know, you quad pilots, it's all about wham bam, thank you, ma'am. I like to satisfy my viewers.
What is coming down the road?
No idea.
Look at this dude coming down the road. This is how Granger gets to school, Granger gets to work. Not in the ute. All right, here we go, Tony.
Coming in a bit hot.
Oh, what are you doing?
Go around.
Thought you were washing some speed off.
Yeah, I was. I had a bit too much. It's a fine line between washing off speed and crashing.
Oh, not bad. Not bad.
That's all right. That's all right.
Radio Cal, with the brightest shirt here today in the FPV field. We got the iFlight box goggles. They're like
Ranger,
60 bucks.
lens?
60 bucks.
And Tony's yelling out, Granger, do your job properly. What do we pay you for?
Nothing. Don't pay me anything.
All right, so you can take the screen out, Cal.
Well, that's interesting because when you kind of outgrow these goggles, if you ever do, you've got something you can use as a simple FPV display and show other people. That's great.
I do want to point out the screen's a bit crooked in there. It moves around a little bit too.
Oh, that's a bit disappointing, but all right, what do you expect for that price? Okay, yeah, I've got my doubts about it.
What do you mean? Why do you say it like that?
Well, it doesn't feel like it has any kind of focal adjustment. So it looks like it's just either going to suit you or it's not. So that's a concern for someone with tired old eyes like me. And it looks a little bit cheap. Yeah.
Did you just click that in together?
Yeah, I did. So that's kind of weird.
Okay. All right, let's whack it on your face, see how it goes.
If it looks cheap, it's because it is cheap. So let's see.
Well,
if
it
it's any
is.
good. Okay.
What's that grumble for?
Look, I can't get a full 100% focus on it. So, you know, maybe I could actually put some eyeglasses, fit some eyeglasses on the inside. I'd need some small eyeglasses to do that to get a sharp focus. But for my tired old eyes, they're not really the best.
Are you getting light leakage?
A little bit from the sides, but that's not too much of a concern. You can easily remedy that with a bit of foam. So yeah, okay.
Arm switch is this one. No, up there under your thumb.
Okay, let's have a look. Oh wow.
What?
I'm just having a terrible time getting a good focus. Like picking up your grandfather's glasses and putting them on and trying to fly. That's what it kind of feels like. So I've had some box goggles recently that do a much better job at
it's still flashing in the middle.
at some kind of generic focus that works well for everybody. But these ones, I think they're only going to work with young eyes.
So you're not a fan?
No, not for my eyes. Like if you're a young fella and you're definitely on a budget and you want to get into the hobby, I think there's a market for people like that, but not for people like me at all. No, waste of time and money, to be honest.
Yeah. Interesting, isn't it? Because iFlight usually makes amazing stuff, like the
Oh, they
Nazgul
do.
and their Zing motors, and
They do. They've got a real reputation for quality, but this one, like I said, for that price, for someone that's young, that's getting into the hobby, they mightn't have any kind of focal issues with this at all, in which case it's going to be a great set of beginner goggles for sure, because it's nice and it's light, they're not too big, and you know, they do the job. And like I said, you can repurpose them later once you outgrow them or get another set of goggles. They're still relevant because you can use them as a little FPV display, which is kind of neat. But yeah.
all right. So, would you buy them? Would you not buy them?
Oh, I wouldn't buy them, but if I had like a young son that was 12 years old and wanted to get into the hobby,
What's that noise?
well, my disarm's on the other side.
Yeah.
So look, if I had a young kid and I wanted to get him in the hobby and give him a taste of it, I'd definitely think about buying him something like this for sure.
When you say, would you pick this pair though, or would there be any others you'd recommend?
Look, for I don't think there's any others quite in this price range. So if you wanted to
They're
keep
60
things
bucks.
cheap, yeah, I think I'd probably go with these. If you wanted to spend a little more, I know Fat Shark have a beautiful set of box goggles out at the moment, but I think they're a little bit more pricey.
Yeah.
But you know, for 60 bucks, they're not a bad product, but you've got to have young eyes, I'd say.
Terrific. All right, thanks, Cal. Radio, so there it is. There's my review of the iFlight FPV goggles, and I'm going to say overall, even though I didn't do the DVR, for me, it just doesn't do that. I know it's cheap, and I really think that if this is all you can afford, okay, but you're not going to have the greatest experience. I think you are much better off saving up for something like the Nun goggles, which, honestly, they look completely ridiculous. They perform fantastically. They don't give you any eye strain, nothing like that, and they are just a really good nice all-round goggle. It's got diversity, all that sort of stuff. So I can't recommend these enough if you want to get into the hobby. I know they're about the $90 mark, which is kind of stretching it because it's 50% more expensive than these. These are coming in about the $60 mark. But overall, I just would look, some people might get really upset that I'm saying this, and if you've got these and they work well for you, then absolutely I'm more than happy for you. That's fantastic. And also Iflight might not like me saying this, but I don't think you should be picking these up. Iflight makes some great stuff. Nazguls, the Zings, they've been killing it, but when it comes to this cheaper goggle, it just feels too cheap. And you know, even things like the screen moving around on the inside, I haven't turned it off, the screen moving around on the inside and all that sort of stuff, it just is kind of lacking a bit of quality control. It could be a good goggle, but the way it is, and especially the shell and the shape, just doesn't fit my face. Too much light leakage, and because it dropped that channel and caused me to crash, that means I don't feel confident flying this thing at all, and it could cost me a lot more money if I happen to crash an expensive model and it breaks a motor or something like that. So overall, I'm going to say give these bad boys a miss. Drop your comments down below. Are you upset that I'm not a big fan of them? Some people might think they're awesome, but they definitely weren't for me or Cal or any of the other boys. And overall, you are much better suited to the Hawkeye. I'm going to link both of these down below. Definitely subscribe for more FPV related content. Oh, it does come with a dodgy dipole antenna and a USB charging cable. Should have told you that at the start, but that's not too exciting. Other than that, subscribe for more FPV related content. Drop your comments down below, and as always, happy flying.